Number 12 patch notes for tomorrow for the DLC of Wyatt and Bones and the Graveyard map, and I just wanted to quickly go through these notes and then give you guys some of my own opinions on what changes are the changes that are coming tomorrow. So we're gonna take a deep dive look into what they have to say. Read on for the bug fixes for TCM tomorrow alongside new characters in the map. They're just saying that the patch tomorrow will roll out at 8 a.m. So for the new characters, players who have the content pass will automatically unlock them, and they're $10 each for the non-content pass holders. So interesting. Lastly, players can look forward for the Rush Week, Winter, Holiday, and Homecoming back. I don't really care for Rush Week, so it doesn't really matter to me, but let's jump right in. Patch notes changed. Base game, Nancy's Barbed Wire. Other family members can now walk through Nancy's barbed wire without breaking them. This is something that should have happened a long time ago, but right now for the Nancy players, I am 110% happy with this because this is what she needed for the longest time. It was just frustrating having to replace traps over and over again when the family member was running through or walking through them, or when you gap through them as Hitchhiker or Sissy. So the fact that they fixed this is just beautiful. So Nancy will actually now be more of a viable pick. I don't know if they'll eventually rework her skill tree a little bit to make it better, but let's hope. But other than that, beautiful. Base game change, sliding doors noise revert. They've reverted the VFX following victims that made its way to the live build in a previous patch. Noise pings will no longer follow victims after they open a sliding door. This won't really affect my gameplay playing Victim. I'll definitely it kind of just like a whatever to me, because I guess they were just trying it out. I guess, but I was thinking maybe they would like reduce the time if it was only like 2 seconds or 1 second. It wouldn't be too bad, but honestly, it is what it is. So I'm not really too affected by this change. So kind of whatever to me. Base game incorrect loading tip. We've changed the loading tip that stated that Leatherface was the only family member to break barricades. It's now read as Leatherface, Hands, and Bones are the only family members who can destroy obstacles. Bones can break barricades inadvertently with a well-placed gore bomb. Wow. So, wow, this I'm telling you, Bones has so much creative input on him, because apparently we found out that all his unique perks will go together on the same side of the tree. So he can break barricades with a bomb too. Also, he can vault wells. He could vault over barricades. He can break the barricades. He can jump through wells and all that. Yeah, I think Bones has the most potential to be like the next best gapper or family member. He could be, honestly, just from reading this is going to be crazy. I can't wait to try him out tomorrow. This is going to be great. All right, change Rush Week private matches, lobby codes. Yeah, I don't really care for that. Rush Week Johnny level 3. Johnny's speed increase, and door slams on him will break. I don't really care about that. Base game Hands ability tree. We have adjusted the Rip Stall cooldown level 2 of Hands ability tree from 40% to 30%. Yeah, this is what people actually wanted for the longest time. A lot of individuals didn't think Scout needed to be removed from him. In my personal opinion, I'm actually really glad that they nerfed the Rip Stall cooldown, because it was necessary. 75 seconds on a Rip Stall was a no-no. It was really, really ridiculous. So now with the 30% cooldown, it'll be 90 seconds. So that should be a lot more fair to deal with. My initial thought it would be like 25 or like 10, but 30 is actually, I think, right in the middle. So I think this will help victims deal with Hands a lot more when they go against him. So honestly, I think this is well fair and definitely needed. Base game Nancy's barbed wire removal time. We have reduced the time it takes for Nancy to remove a barbed wire trap that she's placed from 5 seconds to 3.5 seconds. I'm absolutely glad for that too. Definitely needed, because it just took way too long for her to remove it and then place it back. So that's actually great. And speaking of that, they have reduced the time it takes for Nancy to set barbed wire traps from 10 seconds to 7 seconds. Nancy mains rise up. That's beautiful, because it was ridiculous having to like have to wait all like 10 seconds just to put that down, because Hitchhiker and Hands can put their traps down pretty much in seconds. So Nancy definitely needed this. This was a long time coming. Should have gotten this a long time ago after her first week of release, or 2 weeks, but I guess after that they just didn't touch this character unless they did like simple bug fixes or skill tree changes. But other than that, she didn't really gain anything, so I'm actually glad of this, because I think she's probably has the lowest play rate, I would say, or pick rate, so definitely needed for that. Fixed base game, Nancy ability upgrade stacking. Her ability upgrade level 1 and 2, quicker recharge rate, were incorrectly stacking despite the description stating that they do not. I didn't really notice that, so I'm glad that they fixed that. Fixed base game endurance. This was a must needed. We have fixed an issue where victim endurance was not scaling correctly with the amount of attribute points into the attribute. When adding attribute points into victim endurance, this will now impact the intended total stamina capacity, along with the stamina drain along with stamina drain while dashing or sprinting, and stamina regeneration. I'm hoping that they actually did this correctly, because last patch they claimed that they fixed it and then they didn't. So I'm hoping that victim endurance doesn't run out in like 2 seconds or so, because it was ridiculous having to run a certain time, and like when you put points into attributes for it, like it just didn't really change anything. So that this needed to happen, because other than that, it was just ridiculous, like putting points into endurance, because it was pointless. Now, I am hoping eventually, I don't know if this will come in the next patch next year, because I think this is their last patch for the year. They need to fix victim toughness, because that's been bugged for the longest time. So I'm hoping that they decide to get into that and they look into toughness, because that's also bugged. Fixed base game victims permanently highlighted. Oh, this was definitely must needed. They fixed an issue where victims would become permanently highlighted to the family members after being detected by Grandpa's sonar. Definitely needed, because there was been games where I've seen when I was playing Leland and my family team, or my victim team, would just get highlighted, and they were just like, or for example, I was highlighted for like the whole game, and they just knew where I was every single time. So that was obnoxious as hell, so I'm glad they fixed that. Fixed base game execution pack 4 cameras. Cameras have improved for execution pack 4. Okay, I guess that must have been a bug or something. I wasn't aware of that. Base game security pins. We have fixed an issue where security pins was stacking the difficulty of a lockpick minigame. I didn't really notice that too much, so I wasn't aware that security pins was bugged again. So that is interesting. Base game wireframe. Wireframe will now function as intended and activate when a player traverses through either a gap and a crawl space. There was a bug on there where it worked through a gap, but it didn't work through a crawl space, so that was stupid. But I'm actually glad they fixed that, so that's actually good. No Cell. An issue has been resolved where the perk No Cell will not lose charges and become active for the duration of the match. I have never experienced that, so I guess some individuals didn't lose anything and they were pretty much invincible, I guess, so that's good. The team has fixed an issue with Sissy's perk Linger at level 3, where the blown portion cloud particle effects didn't scale appropriately. Because I had like some bugs on Sissy, I guess. I don't know if they patched it or fixed it a long time ago and I didn't notice. But sometimes when I would throw my poison on the certain character, it wouldn't go over like the barricade or something like that. I don't know if I just needed to time that better and they actually fixed it, but that's stupid if they nerfed that and didn't say anything, but that's stupid. But I'm actually glad Sissy got some nice changes or fixes. We have fixed an issue where generators and car batteries that were poisoned by Sissy were not highlighted for victim players who had the perk Clear Eyes. I never used that perk. I don't know what that does, so y'all would have to tell me what that perk is. Base game Hands Barge Attack. They fixed an issue or resolved an issue where Hands players would become non-functional after performing his barge with depleted stamina. I may have experienced that like maybe once or twice or maybe more. I don't know. That's good, I guess. Shared lock minigame progress. We resolved an issue where lockpick minigame progress was not accurate when progression was shared across 2 or more players. I guess what that means is if they don't have the saved progress on the mini game. It wasn't working as intended, so that's good that they fixed it. Victim well teleportation. Oh, this was a nightmare to deal with when you would just like go through down the well, and they would just teleport you to somewhere else, and the family couldn't see you. That was so stupid when I played against that. That was obnoxious. I'm actually glad they did that, because that was just the most obnoxious thing, because they would just teleport you anywhere. So I'm actually glad they did that. Base game native invite errors fixed. There was an issue. The issue where a player could not join a lobby after accepting a native invite without a game open or initial start screen has been fixed. Players who have accepted a native invite would get stuck in an infinite loading screen. Will no longer have this issue. Okay, nice. View prompt. I missed one. Native invite on starter screen error. Fixed an issue. If a player accepted an invite while on the start screen, they would not be taken into the lobby. Players who do that players will automatically transfer to the correct lobby. That's good. I think I may have experienced that bug like once or twice. Base game view prompt on the DLC. We fixed an issue where the view prompt on the DLC will not open the tutorials in the full screen. Okay, I wasn't aware of that. Base game Leatherface UI. The prompts for Leatherface to rev chainsaw and stop chainsaw were not displaying correctly. The prompts are now correct for the Leatherface when Leatherface starts his chainsaw. Okay. Bone scrap required UI. We have fixed an issue where players would require bone scrap prompt. Wait, hold on a second. We fixed an issue where players would see requires bone scrap prompt would set when a set of bone charms would have already been cut down. I wasn't aware of that. Wood marks remarks were not appearing correctly on characters with the summertime outfit pack. Wasn't aware of that. Base game Sissy dialogue subtitles for Sissy's dialogue were too small. Wasn't aware of that. The burst out prompt fixed an issue. An issue has been fixed where victims would not always see the prompt to burst out of hiding spots. I never suffered that problem. Base game localization. We have updated and added the correct language localization for the following. It looks like they just have a bunch of outfits. Leatherface's leg day execution. Okay, it looks like they just fixed a bunch of correct language for all the certain character outfits. I'm not going to read through all that. Family house texture. We have fixed instances where incorrect and placeholder textures were present onto the ground. Okay. I don't know if they're aware of the whole. I'm hoping that with the texture, because that room in the living room where Grandpa usually sits, that room is so dark you can't even see anybody. So I'm hoping that if that's what they're talking about, an issue where water puddles triggering. I can't read today. An issue has been fixed where Danny would trigger water puddles at incorrect ranges. I've only experienced that a couple of times. Gas station collision. Victims could become particularly stuck after interacting with a crawl space in the West Cell area. I never experienced that. Base game model disappearing. Fixed an issue where a player's character model would disappear when they adjusted their camera. Never experienced that. Family stuck at valve exit. Fixed a bug where family players could become temporarily stuck upon crossing the valve exit. Never experienced that. Base game Grandpa's sonar when sweet talked by Maria. Fix some inconsistencies where players would still be highlighted by Grandpa's sonar from being sweet talked by Maria. For newer players, this is how Grandpa levels work. 1 through 3, sonar highlights players moving around, not in bushes and shadows. Level 4, sonar highlights players moving regardless of hiding status. Level 5, no place to hide. Alright, looks like they fixed that. Abandoned mill. I hate that map. Lobby UI. We have updated the text. Abandoned mill dusk. Lobby UI to reflect the correct text. Okay. Family soft locked while traversing. We have fixed a bug where Hitchhiker and Sissy fell over and became soft locked when they traversed through a gap in crawl space. I never experienced that. Rush week changes. Don't really care for rush week. Yeah, these are all just rush week. Don't really care for rush week. Private matches. Yeah, there's a rush week. Private matches. Gallows voice triggers. Gallows VO triggers. We have fixed the bug where no voice lines would trigger after a victim approaches the gallows. Ooh. Interesting. Private matches, victim status portrait. An issue has been fixed where the host players were unable to see victim status portraits when other victims died or escaped. Huh. Well, I'm going to say this right now. I do like all these changes for base game. I mean, if you want to pause and go check back on the rush week changes, you can. I don't really care for that game mode. I just want the main game to be improved. So for this so far, I definitely think these were heavily decent patch notes. If they just keep up with this type of momentum, this game will be in a lot better of a state. I'm just going to say that I'm hoping after this content is wrapped up for the most part, and it's like all set and done after February, I'm hoping that they just focus on quality of life patches and improve like the polish and improve the main game more. I mean, unless they come out and say they can't focus on the main game anymore, or they're not going to, and they're just going to focus rush week, then we'll have to look for the future and where we're going to go. I do want to say I will be doing some Marvel Rivals videos, like kind of like funny memes or something like that. I don't know when that would be, but hopefully soon. But other than that, I'm not really thinking of too much of anything, so we're just gonna head out of here. I want to say thank you guys so much for thank you all so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next video for tomorrow for the White and Bones pack. And as always, you guys know what to do. Like, comment, and sub, and I definitely will see you on the next one. Stay groovy.